This video is entitled The Kanye West Effect. And generally it's about why, I'm going to use this term loosely, why you see so much cooning amongst the black community. And my definition of coon might be different than others, but my definition of, let's get to that. What's the definition to be a coon so we can further get into this understanding? Coon to me, definition, is a black person who sells out other black people knowingly to benefit themselves. It's not to say that they can't change, but they know what they're doing to diminish and disparage other black people. Doesn't mean you're an intellectual and you have differing thoughts than the majority of other black people that makes them hold themselves accountable. Doesn't make you a coon. You know who's a coon to me? Black gang members, black rappers who disrespect the black community, other black people who are in the quote-unquote maybe conscious community that demean other black people who have less knowledge than them, black people who have a platform to speak on issues and fix and maybe bring a cohesion together that use their platform to divide. Those are coons. If you could think of some, then I'm saying that is a coon. And so that gets me into the next segue of the Kanye West effect. Kanye West. I remember my dad telling me growing up in Newark, New Jersey. I'm from Jersey. That's neither here nor there. But growing up in Jersey, he said he's seen some of the worst racism in his life. He's seen police beat an old black man nearly to death while calling him a nigger. He was in Newark as a kid during the riots and watched when they was running through people's houses and stuff was catching on fire. Not to say it wasn't black people going crazy, but what do you expect when the people who are supposed to keep things in order are destroying the order? And at this time, like he always tells me, if there wasn't necessarily a genuine love for your fellow black man or woman, it was a genuine respect. You walked and carried yourself with a certain type of respect that made you look at other black people with respect. And the ones that did bad, you knew they did bad not because of the circumstance, not just because of circumstances. They did bad because it's their choice. It was their choice not to follow the footsteps or the leadership or the followers of their parents. They just chose to go off. This is what my father tells me. And so that goes into the Kanye West effect, and is that if you see the oppression of white supremacy in your face in your daily life, you're gonna have a harder time fighting amongst your brother or your sister when you see the immediate effects among you, when you see police patrolling your neighborhoods, when there's an invisible line that you can't cross to go into certain neighborhoods. And even growing up myself, there was an invisible line growing up in Jersey that I can't go to, say for instance, Cranford and Fanwood or certain areas, Caldwell. I can't be in there for too long after a certain time because they might stop me. And it was even worse when my father was growing up. You couldn't be out there at all, daytime or nighttime. Nighttime was the worst. He was saying the Klan and stuff used to be. So it's a different feeling when you see it. Now let's go into today's age. The Kanye West effect. Most black people, sad to say, aren't in the knowledge of self. Too many of them weren't back then, but they even further off than now. We have the post-crack epidemic, current drug epidemic as far as the drugging of youth, drugging of children. Me, myself, being a child, I wasn't drugged per se, but drugs were pushed on me because I was defiant in school. And it wasn't that I couldn't learn, I didn't understand, I was defiant in school. So I'm saying post crack epidemic, current drug, pushing the drugs on the youth, gangster rap music, currently gangster rap trap music, post the Bloods, the original brothers leading others out of destruction in society, creating revolution in progress. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. But that's what they were about. These gangs that we had, they were about coming together to help the black community. You know, they were the vanguards of the people, Black Panthers. You know, some of my leaders, you know, I know them personally, Black Panthers, who tell you straight up everything wasn't coochie crunch, everything wasn't great, but we were better where we are now. We knew how to deal with each other, you know, a little bit better. Now it's like my father says, like, you know, it used to be a time you can go to your neighbor and ask them for some sugar. Or your child do something in the neighborhood, they get smacked up by everybody in the neighborhood. Now your child, I watched a video today, little kid was stealing and he was stealing. And the first time he got caught stealing in a dollar store, black kid, manager, grown man took out his belt and started whipping him. Mom, don't touch my child. Don't you touch my child. You can't put your hand on my child. I should have his father come mess you up. Well, first of all, you ain't here with your son and your son is stealing. What are you not teaching your kids? It's another thing. So many factors go into the whole Kanye West thinking effect. And I'm not condoning the way that he was thinking and the things that he said. I'm more understanding why we have that type of ideology or thinking amongst each other and where it stems and comes from. You know, when you don't know your history and you don't know who you are and the people that you see destroying you, yeah, the white man enslaved me, but I don't see no white people. I remember this time where I grew up at, in the summertime, I remember I used to count the days that I didn't see a single white person. I'd be like, dang, I ain't seen a white person in about 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm amongst my people. I'm living amongst my people. And you can see how your people live and the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? How we function, how we do certain things to each other. You know, how we can, how our music is just trash. You know, it used to be about, you know, I'm telling the story of my people and how we struggle. Now it's like you got trolls like the dude Takashi who out here beefing just to make money. That's the thing now. Attention. You're beefing to make money. You're belittling yourself to make money. You're making yourself look like a fool for money. So when our standards become low, and all these things, prison industrial complex, all these brothers being locked away, sisters being locked away in prisons, 70%. How do you think that's going to affect the rest of the generation of people? If we're talking about all these different factors and things that's happening that we still haven't rectified, how do you expect a productive group of people to come out of this? And how do you expect them to think highly of themselves? Because when you tell them about the Black Panthers, why they ain't running the streets like they used to? Why the nation ain't doing why they don't got schools and running like they used to? What happened? So they were doing it. Why they stopped? You know, that's the questions I would ask myself. And if you don't have proper knowledge of yourself, you will become angry with your own people. She's like, yo, man, white supremacy. I don't know about white supremacy, man. I know about nigga over here tried to shoot at me. I know about dude over here that tried to rob me. I know about dude over here that's with my sister, don't take care of his kids. I know about old girl over there that sell her baby father out just because she don't like him to the police just to get extra child support money. I know about girl over here that lied and said that, that's her baby father. You know, we dealing with them type of situations. So you tend to have a certain type of a way you think about your people. And then how we are portrayed on other images, other platforms. Only black people you really see doing well was the actors, the musicians, and the athletes. We're not seeing black scientists all over. And not to say that we necessarily have to, but when so many different factors come into our, came to us and came into our communities and diminished our thinking and diminished our growth, it's going to have a tremendous effect on the following generations. Me being a 90s baby, growing up, being born in the 90s and following suit and living my life and seeing how things transpire. And just, coming to certain questions and realizations if it is what it is, and a lot of it is a blame on black people, but a lot of it is a blame on us. We got to do better. What didn't we do? Why didn't we follow what the Black Panthers left for us? You know what I'm saying? I hear all these old heads, oh man, y'all crazy, man. I always hear old heads talking about y'all generation crazy. Well, we only learned what you gave us. You know what I'm saying? We didn't create ourselves. What didn't you leave for us? And so I say this as an outcry, not to come at everybody in the past generations, because they made a lot of great standards for us to follow after. But we do have to critique it if we're going to move forward. What didn't they do? My father tells me all the time, They used to have beef with other black organizations. Black Panthers had beef with Push. Nation of Islam got beef with the American Muslims. Y'all beef, y'all black, and y'all all beefing with each other. Same stuff that's going on today. You know what I'm saying? We still doing those same things. We still beefing. So even in the conscious, quote unquote, good community of black people, they can't even come together. So how do you expect somebody on the outside looking in, a Kanye West, or an athlete, or a musician who's like, hey, once I remove myself from my community, that's when I got the most success. Once I said, the hell with my people, that's when I got to the platform I wanted to get to. And sometimes some of these people, even if they're famous, they don't even know. They lost. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole point of the separating the wealthy black people from the poor black people. Because when you do that, and they get to look at themselves and they can't see them. They like, hey man, they left us. They don't care about us. And he like, hey man, I'm left them because they don't care about me. They robbed me in my community. There's no factor bringing us together. And so we're so quick to call somebody a coon, but we don't even understand why they think the way they think. Why they might have these type of ideologies. You know? Doesn't mean it's less destructive, and doesn't mean you don't correct them. But know the difference between being a cool. I don't even think Kanye West truly even knows what he's doing. And that doesn't mean that I think he's a baby. It doesn't mean I think something mentally wrong with him outside of the other things. You know? And it's another thing with people. We have mental issues. We walking around with all undiagnosed issues, suppressed emotions, anger. How is it that you find black people, they'll shoot each other over Kool-Aid? That's not normal. What's going on in our psyches that's making us be so destructive to each other, making us hurt each other? What's going on? We need to start really re-diagnosing each other and stop going to follow these ideologies and follow all these different people who saying this and that, and they ain't even right within themselves. Nobody's gonna be fully right, but we have to start talking about these things as issues and facing the realities and stop being so quick to point and say you're this and you're that. Like I said, there's a time and a place when you do that. There's a time and a place, but we need to start working on healing. It's facts. We need to start working on healing. We need to start healing our minds, start healing our bodies, and so we can be holistically healthy and strong. It's the only way. Peace.